The guests arrived with the Ignacio de Leon Yescosura painting, completely unaware of the identity of the person depicted in the artwork. The artist is Ignacio de Leon Yescosura. He's showing off what he can do with paint. He's a Spanish artist, born around 1840, and he lived until about 1900. This is a beautiful silk dress, and here are all the little jewels, and the jewel box and the mirror, and jewels in her headdress. Elaborately colored Persian carpets are there. He chose panels to give you this almost jewel-like finish here. A painting like this, even though it's this small, would go for about $10,000 to $15,000.
Wow. Okay.
So it makes a nice gift.
Yes, it does.
This woman inherited a $45,000 necklace. It's a family heirloom from her great-grandmother. The necklace dated back to the early 19th century, from King Edward VII's era. The necklace was a marvelous piece indeed. It was an embodiment of exquisite craftsmanship, with a 2-carat emerald in the center and 6.5 carats worth of diamonds. It spoke volumes of bygone elegance and opulence. The estimate worth of the necklace was up to $45,000. The guest was delightfully surprised to hear the word.
So it makes a nice gift.
Yes, it does. That's absolutely amazing.
The guest came with the Ferentienthal glass goblets. The glasses were from her grandmother's family, and then she got it from her parents. These are from Germany. The appraiser confirms that these were made in Bavaria, a part of Germany. The company that produced these glasses was called Ferentienthal, established in 1836. This type of glass usually looks like flowers. Can you see these lovely, delicate pastel petals? They're very stylized, which is typical of an Art Nouveau design. When we look inside the glass, it's hand-painted with a stencil, so it's very labor-intensive. It appraised for $8,500.
That's absolutely amazing.
Oh my goodness. I'm shocked.
They say good deeds pay well, and this happened to be true for this guest whose mom helped a hungry man eat. In exchange, he gifted her a cigarette box worth $14,000.
Oh my goodness. I'm shocked.
The woman unknowingly kept it in a box under her bed for 20 years. The cigarette box was made up of gold and platinum. When they tried to weigh it, it went off the mark on the scale because it was heavier than they thought. The beautiful rose-cut diamonds enhanced the elegance and finesse of the box. Such beautiful cigarette cases were a hallmark of craftsmanship in the early 19th century. The cigarette box also had a stamp affirming that it was an original Cartier piece from Paris. When the woman heard the price, she was pleasantly surprised and hadn't expected it to be worth so much.
$15,000.
Oh my goodness. I would have just thought $50, $75 is what I really thought.
The guest inherited a steam engine from his grandfather, who received it as a gift from his prisoner friend. The guest recounted the story of his grandfather's friendship with the prisoner.
Quite a relationship with this gentleman.
The locomotive was crafted with a cigar box for the tender and a birch log for the boiler. The appraiser noted the historical significance of the piece as a representation of railroad history. Additionally, it was recognized as an example of French prisoner art, known for creating intricate toys and mechanical items. Considering its historical and sentimental value, the appraiser estimated its worth to be
$6,000 and $8,000, and if you got a couple of railroad fans in there, it could go significantly higher.
Very good.
This guest presented an electroplated plaque, which he inherited from a friend. The piece was bought from Mary Davies' estate in the 1960s. Marion Davies was a world-famous silent movie star. The plaque depicted the allegory of vanity, as can be observed by the Grecian style of the sculpture and the presence of a mirror, which is the Grecian symbol for vanity. This piece was made by Elkington and Company in 1876. Elkington was famous for inventing a technique that perfected the electrodeposit technique art. As revolutionary as this discovery was, it was not popular as people did not regard electrodeposited art as real art. Elkington used molds from many famous sculptors to create his plaques. This particular one was made by Leonard Morel Ledoux. In 1876, the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition was the biggest trade fair event in the world, and the appraiser believed that this piece was made specifically for that event. The value of this piece is much lower than expected because of the perception of electrodeposit technique plaques among artists and art lovers. So this piece was valued at $3,000 to $5,000 in 2001, further falling to $2,500 to $5,000 in 2016.
I'm amazed. It wasn't how much they were worth, it was the fact that I just treasured them.
The guest creation of Mrs. Rabbit and Simple Simon holds great childhood memories. As a child, the guest enjoyed reading books and magazines by the famous children's author Enid Blyton. She found a competition in one of the magazines and participated with these items in 1959. Mrs. Rabbit, with a carrot in her pocket, won the first prize of £10. Simple Simon secured the second prize of £5.
So, you were not just a competition winner, you were also an Enid Blyton Magazine Club leader.
That's right.
A couple of letters written by Enid Blyton herself were sent to the owner. In addition, this wonderful photo features her with club members.
Yes, the sign-off says, "Give my love and warm thanks to all your kind friends." And that includes all of those who are in the photo.
Each letter is worth £200. The appraiser's keen eye assessed the value of the whole collection as,
I would say, £600 to £800.
Gosh, I'm amazed. It wasn't how much they were worth, it was the fact that I just treasured them.
This charming teapot, a childhood memory from the guest grandmother's house, was initially thought to be Asian, but it's actually from England, and it is made of Majoclea pottery, a type highly prized among collectors. The teapot's figural design adds to its desirability, making it a valuable piece in today's market. With its rich history and unique design, the teapot is estimated to have a retail value between $800 to $1,200, showcasing the enduring appeal of antique Majoclea pottery.
Really?
Yes.
This woman from the cleaning service accidentally found an old rug that was worth $20,000. While picking up old things from the condo, she decided to go for this rug, but the owner refused, only to discover later that this rug was an old masterpiece from Iran. The rug had fine weaving and marvelous colors and patterns. The wool used was imported from Manchester, and it was woven on silk to ensure its quality. The rug dates back to the 1940s. The woman was surprised to hear the price of this rug.
Really?
Yes.
You gotta be kidding me. Oh, my word.
The item is a christening certificate belonging to the guest's four-time great-grandmother. This certificate is written in German, indicating the family's Pennsylvania Dutch heritage. The artist who created the certificate used a popular art form among German communities in Pennsylvania. The certificate features symbols of good luck, such as a unicorn, and reference to the guest's German roots, like a lion wearing a crown. Despite its historical and artistic significance, the certificate is in poor condition, with tears and staining. The appraiser suggests having the certificate professionally conserved to ensure its preservation. The estimated insurance value of the certificate is between $4,000 and $6,000.
You gotta be kidding me. Oh, my word.
The guest stumbled upon this original painting by Sam Vinikoff, known as the Everglades artist, in a thrift store and was drawn to its unique charm. He spent over 30 years capturing the beauty of the region in his artwork. The painting features iconic Everglades wildlife, including a key deer, an osprey, and an egret, beautifully rendered in oil on canvas and signed and dated 1986 by the artist. Despite being purchased for just $3 at a thrift store, the painting is estimated to be worth around $1,500 for insurance purposes, reflecting its monetary value.
I think I love it.
I think I love it, too.
The guest, clearly enamored with the piece, has decided to keep and cherish it. This pair of vintage Trifari snake brooches holds a sentimental and collector value for the guest. The brooches feature lucite bellies. It was a material popular during World War II due to metal shortages. This clear lucite antique is now known as jelly bellies, a term coined after their initial release as clear bellies. Made between 1943 and 1945, these brooches showcase Trifari's innovative designs and craftsmanship, making them a valuable addition to any vintage jewelry collection. Despite missing stones, which can be replaced inexpensively, these brooches can fetch anywhere from $700 to $2,400 in today's market.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well that's great.
This animated advertisement for Kleenex tissue features the iconic characters Little Lulu Moppet and her neighbor Alvin Jones, created in 1935. Little Lulu became the first mascot for Kleenex tissues in the late 1940s and early 1950s, leading to a significant advertising campaign that included comic strips and even a large animated sign in Times Square. The piece from 1951 showcases Marjorie Henderson Buell's signature, also known as Marge, indicating her involvement in its creation. The advertisement is a rare find.
It's also Kleenex advertising. It's also drugstore art. And it's animated and it lights up, so that has a lot of interest in it. The cabinet is in fantastic shape.
Despite its age, the sign is in excellent condition, with no signs of water damage or cracks. It's valued at an estimated auction price of $1,000 to $2,000.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well that's great.
This autographed music manuscript and original score by Deems Taylor, a renowned composer and music critic, was discovered by the guest in a box of sheet music. Deems Taylor is best known as the narrative voice of Disney's Fantasia, where he selected the musical pieces for animation. The manuscript is for his original composition, based on the popular novel Jurgen. This discovery turned out to be a remarkable find for the guest, who acquired it for just $20. Deems Taylor manuscript material is rare, making this find particularly valuable, with an auction estimate of $1,000 to $1,500. This woman bought a set of beaded gauntlets for $500 and found out they were worth $3,500. These gauntlets were made by the Nez Perce tribe back in the early 18th century. The deer motif was distinctively beautiful, and the beadwork made it even more attractive and appealing. When the woman heard the price, she was filled with joy.
$2,500 to $3,500 on today's market.
The guest's father played for the Lookouts in the late 1940s under the legendary Joe Engel, known for his promotional antics and innovative ideas. His father, a left-handed pitcher known as Lefty, played for the Lookouts before serving in the military. The glove, estimated to be from the mid-1940s, accompanied him to the Korean War, where he played with it for the Green Waves. The guest's father was famous for his extravagant promotions, including giving away a house during a game in 1936. While minor league baseball memorabilia is not highly collected, someone might pay between $1,500 and $2,000 for such a piece.
But
I can't have it.
Oh, wow, that's really nice to know. That's great. He'd really like that.
This A2 flight jacket belonged to the guest's grandfather, H. Dwayne Stratton, who flew bombing raids over Europe in World War II as a pilot of the 8th Air Force. The antique is actually a jacket that was made in Chicago in 1944. The jacket features unique artwork, including his name, insignia, and a painted B-17 Flying Fortress on the back, transforming it into a work of art. The guest grandfather was part of the 490th Bomb Group, which flew missions in support of D-Day and the Battle of the Bulge. The jacket's retail value is estimated to be between $2,000 and $2,500.
Oh, wow, that's really nice to know. That's great. He'd really like that. I really appreciate it.
The guest's brother, Red Cagle, was a renowned football player, named an All-American at West Point in 1927, 1928, and 1929. This certificate is from 1929, signed by football legends Newt Rockne and Pop Warner, commemorating Cagle's achievements. In 1929, Cagle not only won this award, but also the Collegiate Player of the Year award. Cagle went on to play for the NFL's New York Giants and was the league's second highest paid player during his time with the team. The certificate holds sentimental value, with an estimated auction value of $2,000 to $5,000. It was made after the Byrd expedition into Antarctica. This particular expedition occurred in 1928, when he first flew over the South Pole.
These women got together and produced this quilt to commemorate that event, I would assume.
Yes.
The guest bought it from the St. Martin's Academy in Sturgis. It's a magnificent, really exciting picture with this incredible sunset, the airplane of the period, and his vessel here delivering supplies. Byrd was a really famous American hero as a result of this very successful expedition. At auction, the quilt would fetch
$5,000.
No, I'm just going to try and buy his share, but I hate to have him know what you guys are praising for.
What we have here is a great assemblage of stuff that relates to one of the great horses of the late 19th and early 20th century, Jim Key. Jim Key was a horse that could read, write, and spell better than a 15-year-old child. And all of this belonged to his trainer and owner, Dr. William Key.
Was the number 1 voted attraction at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. That's on the Midway.
In today's market, all of this would be valued at
$4,000 to $6,000 on the market today. It cross-cuts so many different markets.
This is the picture of a diamond brooch owned by Admiral Nelson. It was awarded to him by the Sultan of Turkey, and he usually wore it on his hat.
It's called a chelink, but it is a diamond brooch.
It was a big brooch and quite feminine. However, this brooch was stolen in 1950 from the Maritime Museum in Greenwich.
Somebody broke in, smashed the glass case it was in, and stole it.
And that's what this is then? Hang on, I was looking at this earlier. So this is the crime scene?
This is the crime scene. Look at the smashed case, and that's where the diamond brooch, the chelink, was stolen from.
And it hasn't been recovered ever since. At auction, this piece is worth
100,000, maybe £200,000 to £300,000 at least.
So we'd quite like to see that. I have to say,
Yes.
It hasn't been seen since the 50s. Might be a bit of a long shot.
The woman bought a photograph for $20 from an old bookstore, and it turned out to be a Professor Avery from 1844. Knowing this fact, the price rose to $4,000. Professor Charles Avery was one of the early daguerreotypists and a chemist. Daguerreotype was one of the very early technologies in photography. This particular photograph was taken by the famous celebrity photographer Antoine Claudette in London. The overall condition of this photograph was still good. When the woman heard the price it now offers, she was joyful.
$2,000 and $4,000.
The guest received the Steelcraft airplane as a Christmas gift from her parents when she was just a little girl, making her the original owner. The airplane is well maintained, and the guest recalls playing with it during her childhood. The guest's sister received a car in a similar style, indicating a thoughtful gift selection by their parents. The Steelcraft airplane is a remarkable survivor, featuring realistic details such as a radial 7-cylinder engine. The airplane is named Spirit of America, likely a reference to Lindbergh's historic flight in 1927. Our guest learned from an antique book that the airplane was valued at $2,700 in 1991. The appraiser estimates its current auction value to be between $7,000 and $8,000.
Wow.
This painting depicts a woman, and it's attributed to the Prior Hamblin School, a group of painters working in Boston in the mid-19th century. The Prior Hamblin School was known for its folk art style, characterized by animated faces and a lively, colorful quality. During the 1840s and 1850s, when this painting was likely created, there was a demand for portraits that captured a more lively and natural appearance. It contrasts to early photography, which required subjects to sit still for extended periods. The painting's portrayal likely appealed to the sitter's desire for an engaging image, In terms of value, the painting is estimated to be worth between $8,000 to $12,000.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know how attached I am to this stand now.
The guest bought this aesthetic movement plant stand in Texas for $400. The tile was broken by a cat, but after polishing, it's in good condition. Most of this brasswork was made in Connecticut. It was likely produced by either the Bradley and Hubbard factory or Parker Brothers. Its intricate design includes paw feet, bird wing legs, and a coiled snake around the shaft, adorned with beautifully rendered butterflies, flowers, and trees. At the top, a French painting adds a finishing touch to this remarkable creation. This lively piece of art, crafted around 1880, incorporates a combination of materials such as brass, ceramic, metal, and wood. By restoring this artwork, its value can be boosted.
Not restored, I would put an estimate of $6,000 to $8,000 on it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know how attached I am to this stand now.
Currently, its value has dropped to between $2,500 and $3,500 in today's market. The guest, a former White House photographer for John F. Kennedy, brought a remarkable set of photographs to the show. He shared interesting stories behind each photograph. Notably, he captured the iconic moment of Kennedy taking the oath. Another photograph, inscribed as a Christmas present by Mrs. Kennedy in 1962, bore the signatures of both President Kennedy and herself. One of the photographs depicted the president at his desk. All three photographs are iconic and historically significant. Can you guess the value of these incredible photographs?
For insurance, it's $75,000.
Good grief and Nelly. Oh, that's unreal.
This item is a watch inherited by the guest, featuring French enamel and diamonds. Initially unsure if the diamonds were real, the guest had never seen the inside of the watch before. The watch is estimated to be worth between $1,500 and $2,000 based on the diamonds and enamel alone. Upon closer inspection, the watch is revealed to be signed by Tiffany & Company on the white porcelain enamel dial. Opening the case reveals the watch was made by Petit Philippe & Company, a renowned Swiss watchmaker, and manufactured in 1890. The combined value of the watch is estimated at $8,000 to $10,000 at auction.
Good grief and Nelly. Oh, that's unreal.
The guest expresses surprise and delight at the watch's value. The guest is a collector of women's art. She prided herself on knowing a lot about women's art until she stumbled upon this curious piece. This painting was the first time she had seen a poster from the women's suffragette movement, and even after her research, a lot was still unknown about it. The women's suffragette movement was a movement in the 1900s aimed at giving women the right to vote. This was actualized when the 19th Amendment was passed in 1920. It was popularized in Europe before its effects trickled down to America. And for this reason, there are more posters and art about the suffragettes in Europe than in America. This painting was an original created by Evelyn Rumsey Carey, who was the first American artist to make art about women's suffrage in America. This painting was a landmark moment in America, and the quote on it became a famous quote among the suffragettes. The quote was from the Bible, and it was Proverbs 31:31. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. Evelyn Rumsey Carey created many more paintings, but none were as monumental as this one. The guest bought this piece for $50 to $75, and even though the piece is no longer in perfect condition, because of its rarity and its social importance, the appraiser estimated the painting to be worth $10,000 to $15,000 in 2008. In 2023, the value increased to $12,000 to $18,000.
And I'm so excited because it's real.
The guest arrived with the 20th century Widecombe funerary mask. She got it from her sister. Her sister's boyfriend was having bad dreams because of it. Her sister said her boyfriend doesn't want it. The appraiser said it was a Widecombe funerary mask. It would be worn at funerals. Widecombe is a tribe in the northern border of Nigeria and Cameroon. It's a wooden form, and animal skin is stretched over it. This has a few condition problems here and there.
The wear down here and on the sides is exactly what you'd expect. Cheeks, chins.
The mask is missing a few teeth, again trying to make the mask look ferocious. It is red in the mouth, around the teeth, which just makes it look a little bit bloody. If in good condition, this could be worth as much as $3,500.
And I'm so excited because it's real.
Wow, I love it.
The guest arrived with the crystal ball paperweight clock. She got it from her grandma when her grandma died in 1988. The appraiser said it's a ball watch or a desk clock designed to sit on a gentleman's desk. This is Swiss-made, sometime around the turn of the century. It tells the day of the month and the day of the week. Also, it provides information on the lunar calendar or the phases of the moon. In addition to that, it tells the time on the side.
What's really special about it is the fact that it has the time in 7 cities across the globe.
It's a very unusual feature to have this type of dial on the back of it. It's probably a $1,200 to $1,500 watch, or in a retail shop for around $2,500.
Wow, I love it.